Thank you all for coming. By show of hands, has anybody heard this tale of woe before? Anybody heard my story before? Fantastic. Okay, there's a handful. Perfect. I'm going to try to liven it up a bit. First of all, thank you for coming. And so you're at a startup festival, and you're going to be surrounded by a bunch of people who are going to tell you, and I apologize, I'm going to swear a lot, how fucking easy it is to raise money, to follow your dreams. They're going to show you a bunch of charts up and to the right, and I'm going to tell you a very different story. And I'm going to share it, and hopefully I'm going to get a little personal here and share my journey. The good news is, so I'm going to cut to the end before I go back to the beginning. I am standing here, so it's not all bad. I made it this far. So this is a story of redemption. This is a story of survival. And it was a fucking amazing ride. And it's not over. A little bit about me. I'm a very unlikely entrepreneur. I started my first business when I was 19 years old. It was a painting business. We had really good product market fit. I heard the speaker before talking about product market fit. We had great product market fit. So I'm Jewish, and I grew up in a very Jewish neighborhood, so not a lot of guys paint. So I had a lot of very willing and able clients. But I was not well suited to the job because I'm afraid of heights. And so I could really only paint to a level of about 8 feet. So that didn't last very long. And I realized I needed to pursue a real career. And I went back to school. As they said, I graduated with a degree in English Lit. So I'm arguably the dumbest person in this room. I can't code. Never taken a marketing course. I don't know much about finance. Somebody once asked me if I had an MBA, and just tongue-in-cheek, I said, yeah, I've got 8. They all report to me. But I've never actually taken a management or marketing course. Mind you, when I was at McGill, I used to write the final papers for most of my friends who were in management because they were functionally illiterate. So that's kind of the way I paid my way through school. I got 5 kids. They're up here, and they're part of my, they're part of the finish line here. So Sarah, top right corner, is my eldest. She's 22. Jake's 20. Isabel is 18. Adam is 15. I'm pretty good. I got the names and the ages. My wife would be proud. And Grace is 10. When I founded Beyond the Rack, and to kind of tell the backstory, Grace was just born. So I remember we named the company, and this is a true story, in my kitchen. It was August of 2008. She was born August 8, 2008. My wife was breastfeeding, and I was there with my business partner, and that's where the name came from. I'll let you connect the dots. I told you I started my first company. Beyond the Rack was an amazing ride. We started the company with an idea. We were sitting, I don't know if any of you are in and around the west end of Montreal, but we were sitting at the Starbucks on Old Orchard in Monkland. We sat there for months with this idea that we were going to start an e-commerce company. My business partner had been in the schmata business for generations. I had been in e-commerce. I had started e-commerce for Avon and Saks Fifth Avenue. I was the founding chief marketing officer of Fido, so all those stupid dogs. That was my idea. And we built that into a big company. And then at the ripe old age of 40, I started my first real company. And Beyond the Rack was number 5 that we started. And before we started Beyond the Rack, I had never raised capital before. I didn't know the difference between an angel and a VC and a PE firm. I didn't know the difference between equity and debt. I knew nothing. I had never actually pitched anybody anything. And Beyond the Rack really it was a labor of love and an exercise in resilience. By the time we were finished 7 years later, after that launch date. We were doing 150 million in revenue annually. Over the life of the business, we did $700 million. We had 450 employees. We had an office here in Montreal, Vegas, New York. We were rock stars at a certain point, and then we were arguably the dumbest fucks on earth. The same people were saying the same thing about us in a delta of about 6 months, just so you know. It doesn't last very long. I wanted to share this video with you because I think it pretty much encapsulates my philosophy on life based on everything that I've gone through.
You want to know the secret to victory? Fail to make the varsity team.
Start your career as a walk-on.
Go 3-13 your rookie season.
Lead the league in interceptions.
Take a perfect team and blow a perfect season.
Spent 108 years as a local loser.
Be on the wrong side of the biggest upset in your sport.
You really want to know the secret to victory?
And heartbreak from that lion who is in utter disbelief.
Defeat.
Make defeat your fuel.
There's a reason that, There's a reason that this video resonates with me, is you have arguably the most successful folks in sports are all talking about the early phases of their careers, which were not mired in just being unknown. I mean, these people failed miserably. But the common element is they all bounced back, and they found the inner strength to focus on a bigger objective. And I will tell you, whether it's your first business or your fifth, if you're not ready for the journey, if you're not ready for the roller coaster, it's probably a good time to get off now, because the route, at least for me and for most successful people, has not been up and to the right. It gets kind of fucked up in the middle, and that fucked up can be really, really, really painful, especially if you're alone. But let me take you back to a happier day. July of 2008, my business partner Rob and I, we had started 4 businesses before. Some successful, some not. I think our worst idea was Mary Kate and Ashley phone cases. That one didn't go so well. One of the good ones, that's a true story. One of the good ones, we did gift bags for Walmart for 7 years. That was a good idea. And then we had this idea, as many good ideas are, based on something that we saw was working in another market. So we saw this company called Vente Privée in France that had built itself up to about 800 million euros. And we were like, wow, somebody's got to do this in North America. And maybe it's us. And so we created a business plan. And we came to the conclusion rather quickly that we needed capital. There was no way that we could fund this ourselves. We also needed jobs, which is usually a good place to start with a business. And we did something that we had never done before. So we wrote a business plan, which we thought we knew what a business plan was. We did our best at it. We went looking for financing. We had never raised money before. So what I did was, we were on Monkland, so we went to Summerlet in NAG, and there's a Dollarama on the corner of Cavendish and Summerlet, and we went in and we invested. It was our first investment in the business. We invested $1 in a spiral ring notebook that had 100 pages in it, and there's a reason I know it had 100 pages in it, because it took me 97 meetings to get my first yes. 97 pitches. Every single person I pitched with my business plan pretty much told me some version of, this is stupid, you're stupid, it'll never work, I've got a million other better places to put my money, if this sounds familiar, get used to it. The thing was, you know, and they say timing is everything, like we could not have picked worse timing to launch a business. literally the ink was dry on our business plan, like it was coming out of an inkjet printer, so it was all fucked up and whatever. And we were taking this business plan around to people, and literally the next day the markets crashed. Like the biggest crash since like 1923. And guys are either destitute or saying, hey, market opportunity. Why would I invest in your stupid company, that's a quote, if I can buy Microsoft at a 7-year low? So I learned early in my sales training that when you get a no, try to turn it into a positive. So every time you get a no, it's closer to a yes, all that bullshit. And so I leveraged that and I said, well, do you know anybody that's stupid enough? And I did that 96 times until I met this guy. So any of you guys know Real Ventures, this is John Stokes. John in 2008 was running around Montreal trying to set up his first seed fund. At the time it was called Montreal Startup. They had never made an investment before, so what better recipe? Take an entrepreneur who's never raised capital before, take a VC who's never funded anybody before, and slap them together, and that was me and John Stokes. And John spent the better part of the next 2 years telling me everything that was wrong with my business. But he did it with love, so that's okay. And I love John, and he made me a better CEO. And he's right. I think had I been maybe a little bit more of an asshole, the story could have ended up a little bit differently. I was always told that I was a little bit too nice. I was talking to another CEO of a large Canadian failure who told me the same thing. If he had to do it all over again, he probably would have been faster and harder in terms of making really difficult decisions. When it came right down to it, there were a couple of opportunities, thinking back, where I should have amputated an arm or a leg, and I was clipping toenails, just because I thought that was going to be enough. And John was the first guy who took us by the shoulders in October of 2008 and said, dudes, this is a really cool idea, and I might actually get behind it. But the first and most important thing you guys need to do is you need to demonstrate to me and to everybody else that you're all in. Like, you can't be sitting here saying, well, if it takes off, I'll quit my job. Like, why would I don't want to be up in front of you. If you're going to lead this thing, you got to be the guy out in front who's taking all the bullets. You guys have to have skin in the game. So unless you guys are willing to do this full time, like that is a starting point for any investor, angel, VC. Like if this is not your full-time gig, like I'm not funding a side hack. Like forget about it. And so that was a wake-up call for us because Rob and I were like, yeah, well, we'll see how it goes and we'll test it, and if it works, you can do that if you're self-funding or you're bootstrapping. But if you want other people's money, you got to be all in. And he was the first guy to say that. And it was a fundamental shift for us. We stopped doing everything else. And from October 2008 till February 2009, Rob and I basically burnt through every last penny that we had. Like second mortgages on the home, like going to IGA and your bank card doesn't work. Like, this is how fucked up we were. Like, we would go downtown for a meeting, and you know when you put your credit card in the kiosk there to pay for $1.30 in parking? Like, you gotta be way over for Visa not to give you $1.30. That's where we were. But we were all in. I can tell you we were all in. And after 6 months of pitching, and in fairness to the VCs and everybody we were pitching to, like the first couple of pitches were pretty rough. Like we didn't know every question was, oh my God, I never thought of that. By like pitch number 25, like the business plan hadn't changed one iota. We just kind of looked better because we knew the questions. It's like writing the same exam 25 days in a row. Like if you're gonna keep pulling 30s, like something's fundamentally wrong with you. Like hopefully by the 30th time you write the exam, you at least can eke out a 50 or a 60. And so like every time we would pitch, we were getting really good. Because like there were no questions, because the pitch deck went from like 20 pages to 5, and the 5 pages answered everybody's questions. And even the shit we didn't know, we made it up, but we knew what the answers needed to be. So it was really tight, and so I would say kind of the second half of the 100, we were actually getting people who were starting to be interested. We got a term sheet in November from a venture firm, very well-known venture firm, not real or BDC, that will remain nameless. And they strung us along and strung us along and strung us along. So if this sounds familiar, I know it still happens. And we needed $1 million. We were raising $1 million. They were 600,000, so they were our lead. They set terms, and we found the other 400,000 through a series of angels. So John was doing like 100, 150. We had another angel in Montreal who did 100, and I had these 2 European guys, really cool European supervillain Bond kind of guys, who were each going to do 100,000. And true story, John met them at a cocktail party in Paris. Like, he didn't know them from Adam, but that's the kind of guy. He was just pitching, right? I think it was at Le Web or something. And these guys kept dicking us around, the Montreal leads, and the thing was falling apart. And it was like mid-January 2009. Rob and I are in fumes. We got like literally, we can't feed our families. And the deal's falling apart, and I said, John, what do I do? These guys, like, every 2 weeks they're supposed to close, they're not closing. So John says, you gotta call them up. You gotta tell them, shit or get off the pot. And fuck it, they're gonna go. They have no choice. Look, they wrote the term sheet, they're not gonna fuck off on the deal now, right? So I had the call, it was a Monday, called the partner at the firm, and he was like, listen, dude, like, it's not gonna happen. Like, we're not there. I was like, are you fucking kidding? Like, we're at a racetrack. Like, if I lose my lead, like, my angels are gonna, there's no round. He says, sorry, dude, like, my partners don't want to do this. It's like, you could have told me like 3 months ago. So I said, John, what do I do? He says, well, we call the angels, gotta tell them the deal's off. So I called Oliver. Oliver's just super cool European angel. He started a company, sold it to Deutsche Börse for like $200 million. He had invested in companies that were doing exactly what we were doing in 11 other countries, so he knew my business model better than me. And he kind of liked the idea that we were going to do North America. And I called him and I said, Oliver, look, man, really wanted you in this round. I lost my lead. I think we're just going to put the key in the door. He goes, no, Yona, I can be your lead. I was like, fucking great. He goes, but there's one thing, only one thing. Look, to write a check for 100,000, it's okay. I do that. I could just wire you the money. It's fine. But 600,000, I need to meet you. It's very different. It's like, okay. And I'm sitting across the table from my partner Rob, because we could really only afford one desk, and literally we're looking at each other. And it's like 11 o'clock in the morning on Tuesday, and we're out of money, and we're at a racetrack. And Oliver's like, yeah, sure, come to, I'm in Zurich or Prague, or where do you want to come? I'm like, well, where are you now? He goes, I'm in Zurich. I'm like, okay, I can be there tomorrow. Rob's like, no, you cannot be there tomorrow. I'm like, great, see you tomorrow, be there at 11 o'clock, flight lands 11, and I hang up, and Rob's like, what the fuck did you just do? I said, I committed to, he goes, you can't, you know what a ticket, same day, to Zurich costs? I go, yeah, it's $3,500. He goes, we don't have $3,500. I said, I have no idea how, but they issued the ticket, and I'm going. I don't know how my credit card went through, but it went through. I said, I'm going home, I'm getting a suit. You print 4, I don't know how many people this guy has. You print 4 copies of the business plan. I will come back in an hour. My flight's in 2. You drive me. So like, literally, I run home, I grab a bag, I put a bunch of shit in a bag, and I run off, drive past, we were on Côte de Liesse in some little shithole, and Rob is like literally fanning the business plan because it's smudging, because it's printing, you know, on one of those printers. And I fly to Zurich, and Oliver picks me up, and we go to the Hyatt Regency, and we sit at this long fucking table. It's like the Treaty of Utrecht or something was signed at this table, and he sits there and he's got his reading glasses and his MacBook, and we sat for 5 hours and we went through the business plan, line by line. And the thing was, he knew my business better than I did because he had launched exactly my business model in 11 other countries. And now it's 5 o'clock, and he closes his laptop and he takes his glasses up and he goes, look, Yona, you're a really nice guy, and I like North America. I love South Beach, I love New York. I really wanted to launch a business, but I don't think I can do this. He's like, and I go, why, Oliver? He goes, look, you look tired. I don't want to talk business anymore. You like Thai food? I'm like, you're asking me if I like Thai food? Yeah, I like Thai food. He goes, great. You go upstairs to your room, take a shower, relax. I pick you up 9 o'clock. I know a great Thai restaurant. You go, we're going to have dinner. We continue talking at dinner. I'm like, fucking great. So I go up to the room. I, of course, have to call Rob because it's like midnight or whatever in Montreal. And Rob's like, so what's going on? How we doing? I said, well, we're meeting over dinner. Right? I didn't have the heart to tell him like we were totally fucked. We have dinner, we talked about a lot of things, and at the end of the dinner he goes, do you want to know why I don't want to invest? And I go, yeah. He says, you got this crazy thing, you're going to do $1 million in 3 years, and you're going to make money, and what's in it for me? Like, you're building, this is like a business for a garage. Like, I'm a venture guy. Like, show me a business that's going to be worth $100 million. Side note, Oliver has been an investor in House, Airbnb, WeWork, now Lime. When I met him, he was worth $200 million. He's probably worth $1 billion now. The guy knows how to pick winners. I just saw him in Israel. He's amazing. But just, he has an intuitive sense. And he was like, look, I know you've done a lot of work on this. I'll give you one more shot. He said, what time's your flight home? I said, it's at 11. He goes, okay, 7 a.m., we meet at Movenpick. We'll have cappuccino. I'll let you re-pitch a different business. I was like, what? This one only took like 7 months to write. And I said, what does it need to say? So he was nice enough to tell me what the answer needed to be, right? He goes, I don't want a business that's doing $1 million in 3 years. I need $1 million a month in revenue by December. And I'm thinking, that's fucking impossible. Like, we built a bottom-up Excel-based spreadsheet with every KPI. I've been doing e-commerce for 20 years. I built 3 scalable e-commerce businesses. The economics don't exist that deliver that type of business, that scale of business. But we're in the fairy tale business. Let's get to work. So Rob and I worked all night. And the best we could do was show $600,000 in December with a bunch of numbers that we didn't believe we could possibly hit. And over a handshake, Oliver said, I'm in, over breakfast. And I said, Oliver, at the risk of losing the only deal that I have, you know we're going to be out of money in July. Like, if we execute this plan, I'm going to need more money in 4 months. He goes, that's fine, I'll make you a deal. If you hit these KPIs, this is proof of concept. I pay you $600,000 to do proof of concept. We don't tell the other guys, okay? But you and me, we have an agreement. If you hit these numbers in July, I'll lead your second round. Handshake. Fine. Right away, I got to lose. I got 4 months of life, right? We go back. He meets me in New York. You have to recognize, I had been doing marketing for 15 years. I thought I knew a little bit about direct-to-consumer. He meets me in New York the next Tuesday to teach me marketing. That December, we did $1.2 million, so we beat our plan 2x. He led our round in July, brought in some other guys. By the end of the second year, we had an offer from TJ Maxx to sell a company for $120 million, which we turned down. Don't applaud. We made a bad call. Really fucking bad call. So any of you start a company, okay? Just a little word of warning. And 2 years in, somebody offers you a a stupid fuck ton of money, sell it. Okay? I work in Chicago now, and I run a tech company there. Ask the Groupon guys if they feel really stupid not taking $6 billion from Google year 2 to sell it, because now they're going to sell it for a penny. Kind of like what I did. We launched January of 2009. Reid Hoffman started LinkedIn. We were massively embarrassed by the first version of our product. If we had more time, there's a great story about how we used to source merchandise, but nobody would sell us. We were building a two-sided marketplace. Two-sided marketplaces required two things, inventory and consumers, neither of which we had, right? Today I would go to jail for how we started Beyond the Rack for a variety of reasons, but I'm just going to go with maybe the statute of limitation has expired. So we spammed our personal contact lists, which today you would go to jail for. And one spam's $1 million with can spam today, so can't do that. That's how we started. Our first event that we ran, we bought from my wife's cousin's store because no distributors would sell us. And little by little, like our first four events, Rob would sit on St. Denis Street with a big cup of coffee, waiting for us to sell an item that was sitting on a sale rack in a store. That's how Beyond the Rack started. We would take their sale rack every Wednesday night, photograph it on his cousin, because she was over 5'5". She was the only girl we knew who was tall enough. And that was our business. It was us and some guy who knew 5 seconds of HTML. And we ran the business for the first 3 years on Excel. And we went from 2 million our first year, 6 our second, 12, 35, 60, 120. It was, you wanted to be there. It was everything you've ever dreamed of. And then in the fall of 2014, we were on a rocket ship. We had just raised a big round, $35 million. We had a plan. We were 6 months away from break even. The company was growing at a modest 15% a year. Oh, what I would do to be back there today. If somebody here invents a Wayback Machine, I'm all in. I would go back to that point in time and I would change fucking history. Some of you won't be born, but that's okay. But I would take another shot at this thing. I'm willing to make sacrifices here. And we had 5 competitors in the market. Hope Look sells to Nordstrom for $260 million. Zulily, this little startup out of Seattle, decides they're going to go public. They announce it at the Goldman Sachs e-commerce conference in Vegas. Just to give you a sense of where we were. Our board meeting was in Vegas at the Bellagio at the same time. I mean, no expense spared. And we decided at that fateful board meeting to pivot. And rather than take the $35 million and become profitable, we're going to go public. Great fucking idea. Zulily can do it. We've seen their S1. Their numbers suck compared to ours. Our unit level economics are better. We have a better growth model. We're going to follow them. We hire bankers who shall remain nameless. I spend 4 months, $3 million working on our S1. We file. We are on a roadshow. Roadshow's fun. And Zulily went out in December or January of 15, and they go out at $14. They price at 14. Immediately the next day they're at 17, 22, 35, they're at 70. Yeah. Just put yourself there. Imagine what we were going through. Imagine the math. You don't need a stats degree to figure out the math on what my share, my partner's share, top North American VCs are looking at in terms of the value of our business. What could possibly go wrong? We're out on a roadshow. Our round is priced. I'm 6 weeks away from going public. We're talking generational wealth. This is as high on the scale of a roller coaster as you could possibly go. This is the apex point of the highest roller coaster on Earth. The air is clear. You could see for miles. Now this is, I don't know if any of you are in finance, but I'm going to use a financial term about what Zulily does in Q1, their first quarter. They shit the bed. They don't shit the bed, they shit the room, they shit the next room. There's like hazmat crews, like the ones from Monsters, Inc. are descending to clean up the mess. People are canceling our roadshow meetings because this is the rabbit that we're following. Everybody's like, well, if they could do it, here's the next one. Nobody wants to see us. We could have repriced and probably still gotten out, but that wasn't the decision we made. We actually went through a process where we decided we were going to sell the company. We had an offer from a very large retailer to buy the company. Would have been a very nice exit. Would have been the big one, but it would have been very nice. Safe harbor for everybody. And at the 11th hour, one of our investors brought in a competing bid that was the wrong decision. We went from the highest high to the lowest low. I got 4 minutes, so I'm going to try to be brief about what happens next. But I tried as best I could to save a very sinking ship. The day that we as a board made the decision not to take the offer and sell the company and take the safe harbor, my president quit at that board meeting. He's now president of one of the largest retailers in North America. My COO and chief technology officer, who I recruited from Amazon, quit. He's now the COO of Staples. My head of marketing quit. He's now vice president of marketing at Facebook. We had a fucking rockstar crew. They were all, this is fucked. And I was left, no investors, no company, and one guy that I was trying to sell the company to. Long story short, I ended up pitching some dude for a safety loan at a bar while he was watching a NASCAR in Fort Lauderdale while his wife was drinking mojitos on a Saturday night, like at 11 o'clock. Like, I was looking for any money just to pull this thing together. Like, I don't know if you saw Spider-Man, he's trying to hold the ship. That was me. And I just knew it was not going the right way. And I had to drive back to my hotel, which was up in Palm Beach, because it was the only thing I could afford. And my wife, on the other hand, was trying to understand why there was a bailiff at our house trying to collect on personal guarantees that I had made 7 years ago to a company that probably had made $20 million in profit on our deal, was trying to collect on a $300,000 personal guarantee. So if you guys ever need a payment processing company, I will tell you the one never to work with. But I went from the highest high to about as low underground as you can go, and I was this close to driving into a median at 100 miles an hour. It was touch and go. And I don't know what, I'm not a religious man, but to tell you about the things that happened after, when I emerged from that moment, I took my head out of my ass and I realized there was a life to live. I met this dude 2 years ago. He's a fantastic entrepreneur. He built a company that I now run for him. It's called ParkWhiz. We do fucking amazing, crazy stuff. Like, you can sit down in your car, you can tell it to find you a parking spot. It finds you a parking spot, navigates you to it, opens the gate, pays for it. We're working with all the biggest automotive companies in the world. We work with Live Nation, so if you buy tickets to go to U2, we help you find your tickets. We work with the biggest travel companies in the world. If I had chosen the median, I never would have known this. This is a list of the customers that we work with. This is our growth. There's life after failure. But probably most importantly, I wouldn't have seen Grace go to camp. She's 10 years old, she went to camp for the first time. I wouldn't have seen Adam win the regional hockey championships. I wouldn't have seen Isabel graduate high school, and the only reason, she would hate me if I showed this picture, so that's a better picture of her. So I wouldn't have seen Sarah graduate Ryerson and get a job at Comedy Central and do an open mic night in LA, which I did 2 weeks ago. I wouldn't have seen Jake get a recording deal with Universal Music and live out his fucking dream. I don't know if it's gonna happen, but I saw 5 kids live out dreams that I don't know what would have happened to their lives or mine. I certainly would have missed out on all that shit if I had made a wrong decision and thought that my life and the life of the business were the same thing. This is the most important person in my life, my wife Natalie. She went from being a stay-at-home mom for 15 years to being an entrepreneur. She went to chef school, she started a donut business. If you guys like donuts, I know I'm out of time, but if you guys like donuts, 5319 to carry. She started a company called Donuts, the best fucking donuts in the world. She started those as a hobby. She now has, this is her product. She's got 14 staff. If you guys want to see what entrepreneurship is all about, go there on a Saturday morning and see the lineups. It's amazing, it's heartening. I would have missed this, and I probably would have stopped her from doing this if I would have taken that selfish act. 6 things. Success is messy, it's not up and to the right, it's fucked up, you're gonna have dark, dark days. I don't know what it is. It's certainly not drugs or alcohol. Find yourself a friend, a great show, a place, find your inner peace, and just keep moving. Iterate, iterate, iterate. Shopify started as a skateboard fucking company, and now I think Harley's a billionaire. And it couldn't happen to a nicer guy. Pivot, but just stay at it and innovate. Make sure your team is better than you. Make sure that everybody that surrounds you makes you better and can accelerate and make your project better. Make the friggin' hard decisions. And if you don't think you know what they are, ask somebody who's dispassionate and maybe has a little bit of experience. Sometimes you need to sacrifice a limb, 2 limbs, 4 limbs to save the body. I didn't do it, and I regret it, and I spoke to another CEO today who feels exactly the same way. You gotta make hard decisions. Save the fucking patient. And persist, you gotta stay in the game. But at the end of the day, it's my closing slide, and I know I'm way off, and I'm really sorry. But no matter how bad it gets, just keep going. It's only business. It's one business. Our moderator here, I think he told me started 18 businesses. I've started 6. I'm doing my 7th. I'm having more fun today than I ever have. And I'm back in the game. And it's a long, long book you're writing with many, many chapters. And just focus on the big picture, have fun, work really hard, but keep perspective. I thank you guys very much for your attention.